Hello, welcome back. I've got this late 70s version, Hornby version of the King Class. This is King Edward I. I think we've seen it before back on the System 6, possibly more at home on that, but I thought we'd have a bit of a run with it today with these Collett Style Coaches, also I believe from the late 1970s. But we'll have a closer look at those in a moment. Let's close a couple of points so we can get this, we'll close one and open another. So we'll make that one close. So I'm using that as a crossover onto the inner line, so we can run it through there. So I'm moving a little bit quick, and I've been experimenting with a bit of a station platform in there. I've acquired another bunch of pieces which I think there's going to sort of add a little bit of interest there. So what we need to do is open this one, so that's the line which we can use to cross back over the other end of it. I'm just thinking which way with the points there. There we go. That's the correct way. So if I grab the controls, I'm going to give this a little bit of power. Tender drive. So I'm looking in the wrong place there. So relatively well behaved. Let's give that some power. I know I keep saying that, but this time we really will. So I haven't noticed those wheels on the locomotive locking up yet. I've just noticed also that I've left a point there in the wrong direction. So let's remedy that one while we're there. So that one wants to go straight. I had a plan to put the Albert Hall in there, but I think we might have an extended run with that. So it was yesterday when I shot the other footage, and everything has sat here since. So let's bring this around here. Nice and smoothly, and we'll just bring it into the near side of the sort of station I've been fiddling with. And I've got the box here, so we should probably have a look at that. I meant to have a look at that when I was throwing the points, and I forgot all about it. So if you want to see the locomotive in the box, I'll leave a little bit of footage of it at the end. So it's got paperwork. So we've got there R.078, 15th of the 9th, 78. So we've seen these sort of instructions before, sort of fairly extensive, covering a wide variety of subjects in the range. So yeah, we won't look through that at the moment. And there is a black and white image there of the King Edward sitting at the bottom of the page. So it is just sort of white polystyrene on the inside of there. Boxes probably seen better days. They're very soft, very thin cardboard boxes from this era. So I think this locomotive 78 to my memory will come back, 78, 79. I think it went to a paint finish. Got a different model number which escapes me at the moment, in 1980. So yeah, sort of quite nice to have the box, but very often these are torn, and the tabs get really sort of because the cardboard is so weak, it tends to suffer quite badly. So and you can see at that end as well, the cardboard is all sort of away. So we'll pop these out of harm's way, and I will leave a little footage of that at the end. Let's just pop that in there in a place of safety. So I think the points are all good, and we're going to roll around into there. Yeah, that'll work. And then we'll do something with the Albert Hall and the small freight train. All those coaches have the silver seal wheels. Tiny bit of hesitation there. And we'll get a bit of a stop there. So let's switch this set of points. These should operate as a pair. So we'll go straight with that, and then we'll get the Albert Hall. Actually, have I just run that into a point which needs closing? I have, yeah, got that just in time. So I've left that in the wrong position there, haven't I? So let's remedy that. We want to go curved with that one. And this time there we go. All Mark II couplings on those wagons. Let's get a slightly more interesting shot as that comes around there. That's going to trundle back around. I think we'll stop it at the station and we'll make plans to put it into that siding. There we go. I think we'll... Actually, I've just noticed that the front bogie has jumped the rails there. So we'll have another play with that. Let's see. We'll leave the Albert Hall where it is for now. Let's see if I can get that back on the rails. Yeah. Something didn't like that coming through there. I think we'll just give that another go. So yeah, we'll look at that end this time. We'll go curved. Not really a surprise. It wasn't designed for this sort of track work. There's that nasty plastic bit there. I think they could have easily used metal. It's got to be a cost-cutting exercise, that. We'll have a look at that in a moment when we whip the locomotive off the rails. So this is where we were having an issue before. Yeah, I think we were fine before. The last time there was a bit of a hesitation there. It must have just jumped the point blades, I think. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think we're all good this time. Right, enough distraction. Let's change that again, so straight. And then we'll pop the Albert Hall in here, which had been my original plan yesterday. But I thought we should probably just have a little bit more of a run with it. Let's give that a go. Completely different sort of noise, exo motor in here. Bit echoey in the bodywork. Yeah, this will keep this all nice and tidy in there. There we have it. That'll be safe in there. So we'll close that. So there we go. And I think what we'll do, we'll just run that around onto the other line on the other side of this experimental station, and then we'll whip the stuff off and have a quick look over it. Got the wrong switch. Let's come in above here. Loads of detail on those roofs. The one on the restaurant there in the centre is a little dirtier than the rest. It doesn't seem to come as clean. No boxes with these models. Well, I've got the box on the locomotive, but not for the coaches, is what I meant to say. So we'll just close this one, and we'll bring that through. A very crisp photograph there in the 1978 catalogue. New for 78 it says there. We've got the info printed down the left-hand side of the page. I'll leave this at the end for you to have a look at, and that illustration there just carries through onto the box. So we'll just pop this to one side. This is a very worn-out copy of the 78 catalogue. So I've just got the tender, or I've split the tender apart so we can have a quick look over it. It's not one of those nice early Ringfield motors like the Evening Star used to have when it first came along. This is the slightly revised version of it. In many ways, I think it's a cheaper thing. Seems to run quite nicely, and we've got dummy wheels, all a bit floaty there with flanges on, which could lead to some of its problems with the points. Pair of traction tyres, but fairly nice condition. I don't think I'd converted this one to run on 01 when I had the 01 in action. So we'll just pop that down there. So we'll just grab the tender top. And you see, got sort of a transfer line on this waxy plastic. I think my Albert Hall in the Jubilee set is made of this very, very waxy, sort of matte waxy plastic. I think there's a part of one of these clips there that where it goes onto the tender base is away or missing there. So I try and ease this together whilst we've got it, and look at the whole thing, get the full effect. So there we go. And of course we're having pickups with the coupling between the locomotive and tender, which is sometimes not the best way of doing it. It can become quite troublesome, but I think probably because this one has seen so very little use, I think let's leave that one there, and we'll grab the locomotive and have a quick look over it. So again, very little use. Got wire handrails held with these little tiny plastic clasps along the side. They can begin to pop out by themselves. I can't remember which model I've got where they're really, I think it might be a little GWR pannier tank locomotive. They just keep popping out. They will not stay in position. We've got a couple of whistles there. Glazing on the cab. Wire handrail, some lovely detail in there, and then we can see that connection to the tender. This is where it's going to all go horribly wrong at some point, I imagine. Let's have a look down the other side of the model here. Ideally, we are retaining focus on this. There's that nasty plastic part there. I think that maybe it was just too expensive for them to make. I can't see why it would be an advantage to have that in plastic. I don't think it's going to add to the longevity of this particular model. It's going to be fairly weak at playtime. So see how that runs very, very smoothly. But we do have the flange on the centre wheel there, which I think might cause it some issues through some of this point work. And we do have Hornby there, made in Great Britain. Let's see if I can get that to pick out nicely there. I think that's a plastic plate across the bottom there. It has some braking detail and stuff. Almost forgot the coaches. The composite R.078. This particular one I think came along 77, 79. I think all of these coaches gained paint finish in 1980. Catalogue numbers may have changed at that point. I think bogies changed in the 80s as the 80s moved on. So we'll just have a quick look over those. So I think these ones have seen a fair bit of action. I think I mentioned earlier I don't have the boxes. We've got plenty of detail underneath. I think, do we have Hornby's name here? So I think possibly the underframe is the same on all three of these coaches. Let's just have a quick look down the side. We've got plenty of interior detail on these as well. So we'll pop this one down and we'll have a look over the brake. This is R430. So again, we've got a different detailing here. We've got bars on the windows. So definitely had a bit of enjoyment again. Look, you can see the seating down that side. Yeah, they've definitely been in and out of the toy box. You got a wear through of this chocolate paint. I think they're possibly moulded in the cream colour and then painted up in chocolate in this instance. So yeah, definitely plenty of wear through there. And we can see down the corridor side of it there. So really quite splendid things. They do look good with the running past the Pullmans on the railway as well. And then the restaurant, this one didn't come along till 78, so even more detail there. The roof is quite sort of muddy on this one. It doesn't clean up as nicely as the other two. Plenty of tables in there as well, all sorts of detail. So quite a step forward from those sort of 9-inch coaches from the early 60s, and the 10-inch ones with very basic seating units in. But yeah, lots more information printed into these. So I think we'll just get these on the rails. So I almost forgot to look over these coaches. There we go, all back on the rails. I hadn't noticed till I just looked over that footage quite how dusty this locomotive is. I think I should have given it a bit more of a clean up. I got it out of the box and it seemed to be okay, but I think probably I'd had this on the rail, sitting on the railway a little while, and it had become quite dusty, and I haven't done a good enough job of sort of cleaning it up. Also, when we were looking over it, I think I read quite a bit that people don't like this, the way they've chosen to mould this around under here. So there's always faults to be picked out in these models, but I think you'd have been very pleased with this if this had come along for your birthday or Christmas, I imagine. I don't think you would have given it too much thought as a child at the time, but it is just a great toy, sort of representing a fairly powerful looking locomotive. Let's give this a little power and we'll run this around onto the other line. I've adjusted the points. Let's just come back a little bit and just see if we can finish off with a bit of a run round on the outer line. Smoothly through there. Let's see how it does with the diamond. And then we've got the crossover through the tunnel and onto the near side of the station. A little bit more power there. Up and over. Let's calm that down and bring that into the station. I'll just attend to a couple of sets of points. So that's a fairly charging around there, isn't it? So let's see what we need to do here. So we need to close that one. There we go. And I don't think I'm coming back to the inside line just yet, but just a good habit to get into. So we'll routine rather than habit. Habits are bad, routines are good, as they always say. So I think we're fairly safe for a run around that line now. So a little bit more sedate this time, and I'll put the controls down and see if we can get in a little bit tighter and have a look at it as it goes. That should run down near side of the station again. Let's see if we can come out this side of it. Have a look at the roofs of those coaches. Am I going to lose it as it jumps into the tunnel there? Let's see if I can come along here as well. It's a fairly even runner, but I think those connections between loco and tender can become problematic over time. I know I've got several I've had to work at quite a bit. Let's see if it'll the focus will play here. Maybe, maybe not. Running quite nice. Let's just have... Actually, no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop it there for a second. And then... Whoops, throwing the controls on the floor here. I'm just going to change the route through that station over there, and then we'll get a bit more express speed, I think. Just for the smiling, not for accuracy. I don't think it'd have any trouble taking another couple of coaches, perhaps. Yeah, I don't feel I want to go very much quicker than that. Does the business though. Yeah, let's bring that to rest in the station. And I think that's probably it for this time. Let's get that nice gentle stop.
just there. So I think we'll leave that there. I'll just have a quick look at my new group of station parts here. I'm struggling putting the controls down. I'll not be lazy and go for a Velcro dot. I keep trying to lie it there, and the cable just brings it down. So I got another handful of these. I've been sort of on the lookout for bits and pieces. Got some of those, and I've pinched these sort of canopies from the other side and respaced the buildings. I thought, well, actually, I've got one more red building, but it is so bent, so the acetate is so poor, it's not really a viable option. So I haven't put that down, but I thought maybe we'll just have that there. And obviously the footbridge doesn't span those 3 rails, and there's quite a gap between those. But although annoyingly, you know, there isn't enough of a gap there, so to put the another platform in there. But I think that's going to be quite entertaining. But thanks again for watching. If you look back again next time, we'll see if we can have something else interesting to have a look at. Goodbye now.